My name's Dardii. I also play tunes under Stonechucker and under Dardii. Basscamp started last year as an idea between me and 4 or 5 other friends. Outdoors, bush parties, similar sort of fun doof dynamics, but with a focus on the bass D&B side of things rather than the prog side techno side of things. This is our first time running Basscamp for the second time. Bass music, lower frequencies return you to your root, to your earth, it's like it's good for dancing, those lower frequencies. This is all bass, all D&B, all weekend, which is pretty sick. I'm very interested in how this sound is progressing in Australia.
Is there a progressive drum and bass or progressive bass music?
People should go out there and support. It's a tough time at the moment. Gigs are struggling to keep by, but there's so many passionate people doing amazing creative things. So yeah, keep checking it out. And Australia's fucking going off at the moment. The Stonechucker project was set up to be my place for all bass and drum and bass stuff. And it's still broad, but at least to eliminate the psychedelic view. We're really happy to embrace this little niche that we've found, and I feel like once we get people here and they see what's going on, everyone's like, oh, we're about it, we see what you guys are doing, which makes me feel so happy.
Hello everybody from Basscamp 2023. Brother, please introduce yourself for the viewers who may not know you.
Oh, hey guys, thanks Misha. My name's Dardii. I also play tunes under Stonechucker and under Dardii, and I'm a co-director of Enigmatic Industries, the crew that run the bass-orientated festival Basscamp in New South Wales. So cheers for speaking to us, Misha.
Well, thank you for sitting down with me. I would like to first ask you a few questions about Basscamp and then about you as an artist, as a DJ. So, Basscamp, how many? This is the second one, or?
This is the second edition, yeah. So Basscamp started last year as an idea between me and 4 or 5 other friends. There was lots of people's sort of ideas that all formed to come together in this project. But yeah, the pretty much basis of we felt like people that like psy-prog techno are privileged in the events they get to experience the music they like, because this is the scene we all fucking love and think's amazing. So we would be cool to get some more of other genres that we're really passionate about into this scene that is so creative and thriving. So yeah, this is our second year of running Basscamp, and we're pretty stoked with it. I'm proud of what we've been doing so far.
So what do you know of any other events in Australia that specialize in bass music?
I'll give one shout out to Rain Dance Festival in WA. So it's on the other side of the country, which is further away than some other countries are. But yeah, WA is a huge bass and D&B scene, and someone we've actually booked for this party, John, is running a party called Rain Dance that looks similar sort of vibe to what we're doing here, in the sense of outdoors, bush parties, similar sort of fun doof dynamics, but with a focus on the bass D&B side of things rather than the prog side techno side of things. Otherwise, there's a bunch of good parties with a focus on this side of music, but not necessarily it's their thing, so we've embraced the niche as much as we can with this event, and this is it's all bass and D&B rather than some other big parties will have a good showcase of it and people are loving it, but this is all bass, all D&B, all weekend, which is pretty sick.
Who came up with the name Basscamp?
So I actually think that was, apologies if I get this wrong, I think it was me and Tarquin drinking beers at another party talking about, the premise comes before the name, but the idea of Basscamp I sort of like as in, it's a play on words, bass, B-A-S-E, B-A-S-S, bass music, lower frequencies return you to your root, to your earth, it's like it's good for dancing, those lower frequencies tune you in and ground you, it's like come to Basscamp, set up your Basscamp, and then also it's a fun play on words as well, with working with the bass that is, a central part of the music that our event supports.
Well, that's, it's very, I think, catchy name, very good. What about, this second event in comparison to the first one you held last year? What would you say is different? what are you trying to do differently, and what have been things that you've done differently this time?
So the whole process is such a learning experience. We learned so much last year, and we learned so many lessons this year as well. Honestly, the biggest factor, I know it seems maybe trivial, but is the weather. Last year we were battling torrential rain, flash flooding, the La Nina, just the whole season was crazy. So we couldn't even drive around site to build things. We were picking up materials and walking them around, and all of our extra energy spent to making this beautiful spot actually accessible. So coming back this year, it felt like our first year was sort of like quite a trial, It's like we were thrown the worst possible weather for our first event where we didn't have any reputation or anything, but the whole community that came out was so stoked for the first one, and we all were as well. So then to come out now and being able to use the same site again, we already had a little bit of infrastructure here. So yeah, we've sort of, now that we have some amenities here and some space cleared, it's actually making it like a nice little area which we got to do a bit this time. We got a shade sail in, we got poles, we set up an art gallery, we put more toilets in, there's decor and banners everywhere. It feels really nice to beautify the space rather than last year we were just making the space accessible because it was the first time it had been used. So hopefully as time goes on as well, it's like less needing to make the space accessible and more beautifying it and putting facilities on it. So that was a big switch from this year to last year, was we actually have a slate to work off this year. We had some trenches dug for cables, we had the front of house built, we had at least the base of the stage built. So these things to build across was cool, and it let us sort of splash out a bit in a few extra areas, I guess. Like we got to think a bit more creatively about our stage and stuff because we already had the foundations on it there, I guess, which was cool. So that was a huge growth from last year, was actually having something to build upon. Something Atlanta actually said in the opening ceremony I think was really nice is this is our first time running Basscamp for the second time, and it's always going to be that case. It's going to be a constant learning process for all of us, but the whole team's smashing it and I'm so proud of everyone, so I'm really happy with it.
Awesome. So the stage, when I first saw it, I was like, this is one of the most impressive stages I've seen recently. Whose idea was that, and how did the work go about the stage?
So shout out to Tarquin and Mac for the stage. Between them two, they're the masterminds behind that part of the project. So Mac is design and Tarquin is arts, to break it down into two very simple categories, I guess. But yeah, I'm not as involved in this process, so I can't jazz it up as much as I wish I could for the boys, but I'm so bloody impressed. Like, the guys just wanted to do something 3D, have some depth to it, rather than like stacking 2D to make 3D. We were like, no, how do we actually come up with a living sort of thing, And doing this out of timber would have been impossible. It would have been so heavy. That possum head in the middle would have been hundreds of kilos of timber. So we're working with a material that none of us have worked before. Like, we have carpenters on site to help us build, and then it's ironic and we're building with polystyrene, but it came together so well. Like, Mac actually built the CNC to get this stage together, so this whole process has blown me away. Like, the whole team has gone above and beyond, but to achieve what we want to achieve, the guys, they like depth in their stages, they like 3D, they like the way that the stages incorporate the speaker stacks, and it's so sick for me. I don't know, I just trust them boys completely, and I'm like, I'm so excited to see what you guys do, I look at the designs and I see it coming through, but man, like, I just trust. And then I swear I woke up one morning and it was painted, and then the projections came on at night, and I'm like, oh my god, it's happening, it's crazy. But yeah, shout out to the whole build team that helped us get this together, and all the design and painters and everything. We're stoked for the stage this year.
Awesome, yeah, amazing. What about how many people came this year, you think?
So I reckon total numbers on site is somewhere between 350 and 400, which is probably about, I think like 500 people on site would be the most it would ever be, but 300 tickets is all we have available, and then on top of the tickets that we have for sale, we need to accommodate for artists, performers, crew, production, the plus ones of artists, and all those extra numbers. So we've got about 300 tickets for sale, and got about 200 people coming through the gate this year, which is awesome. It's only our second year and we doubled our numbers from last year. And we know we're running a niche with this event, you know. It's like we can, if we're trying to attack numbers, we could get, you know, you put your fingers in more pies, you know, you go more genres, you get more people from different crews. But we're really happy to embrace this little niche that we've found. And I feel like everyone that comes out is like, oh, we get what you guys are doing. Like, I'll come back next year. So that's making me really happy, you know. It's like we're trying to achieve festival level production with intimate sort of numbers because, I don't know, like having this production is possible. But it's also nice to remember people's name on the dance floor, you know. I love the massive 10,000 person parties, but I swear I get a bit overwhelmed if I meet 100 people in a weekend. But I don't know, this dance floor right now, I swear I could name half of the people here and they're all friends and family. So it's awesome to have that community vibe, but we still try and achieve the best production that we can. So I feel like once we get people here and they see what's going on, everyone's like, oh, we're about it. We see what you guys are doing, which makes me feel so happy.
Nice. What about the music and the programming of the music? What did you try to do this year, perhaps differently, or just in general, what did you try to do?
Programming for the music is, so I've done a few different lineups for a few different events since I've been doing gigs and stuff. And doing an all-bass D&B party was actually so much more freedom in how the set times came together. It was quite, someone once said it to me in a way that was clever and I think makes sense, but they compared psytrance and techno, more 4/4 bass party music and bass and D&B as being sort of like rock and pop being psy and techno, and then something more jazz in the way it's performed of bass and D&B, as in it's like you can chop and change so much. It's like they're very broad genres, you know, like putting a psy lineup together, you definitely have freedom and you have creativity in how that flow goes, but there's always sort of some build, it feels like a build and then a release, which we have as well, but BPM is a lot different, you know. Like last night we actually over-halved the BPM at one point, which doing that on a psy lineup would feel insane, you know, to build the energy up so much and slow it down. But with drum and bass, you can, you know, those halftime sounds and those big, like, experimental snarling basses can be that graveyard, dark, nighttime music, but be completely different BPMs and stuff, which is fun to put together. So, yeah, doing this whole lineup I thought was a privilege, you know, to work out all these sets together and be like, I don't know, try and envision how it would come across of all these different sounds blending together. But I think it's all flowed really well so far. Everyone's killed it. The artists have been speaking to each other and what people are playing before and after. And because all these genres are sort of quite broad and interchange with each other, everything's flowed very smoothly all weekend. And it's been, yeah, very nice to be involved with. Like, feels like the energy can maybe rise and fall a lot quicker without it being shocking to the audience, which has been cool to observe.
Sounds like prog to me, man. Is there a progressive drum and bass or progressive bass music?
I'm sure there is, man. Progressive is a weird term. I actually like hearing about this Turk of the Torm on your channel, but it definitely progresses. But I'd say the way it's performed might be the part that is different. The progression over a whole set exists more rather than, in my term, over a whole track. A lot of my side tracks, you know, it's a 12-minute song, and over the whole song it's sort of adding all these components and elements, and that is the maybe prog part to me, that is the progression. When I'm doing a drum and bass set, it might actually be I'm trying to progress by moving through different sort of styles and flavors of that music rather than, you know, something alternative. So yeah, it's cool.
What about you? What did you play last night?
So I played a subgenre of drum and bass that's called neurofunk, and that's honestly quite a broad subgenre nowadays as well, but I love it. It's, to me, the very, very hard, very fast, in your face, sort of grabs your attention, but it's hard energy like dance floor music. So I was stoked to be able to play that here. It doesn't get as much representation in the doof scene, but I think that's strange because, especially around Sydney, people love the faster BPMs of psy and stuff. You know, it's a very immense, soundscape heavy, dark music, but the same thing with the percussive drum and bass doesn't get as much love. So I like to do these big, sort of, you know, dark, full-on journey sort of sets through. But yeah, it's very big in Eastern Europe. That's sort of nearly all the artists I play. It's like a religion over there. So yeah, it's cool to bring some to Australia. We had a really cool neuro headliners on the lineup as well. Shout out Zombie Cats and Transformer. But yeah, drum and bass is such a beautiful genre of music with so many little pockets under it that are so unique. Like, to compare liquid drum and bass to the neurofunk I was playing last night is so far-fetched, even though similar BPMs, similar song structure and everything, like the sounds are completely different. So yeah, it's a fun sound to play with. It's exciting.
Yeah, and so your DJ name Stonechucker how long have you had this DJ name?
So Stonechucker project was started at Basscamp last year. It was actually the first time I performed under that name. Until then, I was doing everything under Dardii, which was sort of my just alias for anything I did behind the decks. But a few people recommended to me that it might be easier for people to maybe book me and give me set times if I just separated my music a bit so they knew what to do, because I love so much different types of music that I could play everything from a 128 techno set to a 150 dark side of bass and D&B, but people didn't know like what they were asking from me. So the Stonechucker project was set up to be my place for all bass and drum and bass stuff, and it's still broad, but at least to eliminate the psychedelic music. So the Dardii project was kept for the more psychedelic doof sounds that I like, and the Stonechucker project was born for the more sort of dark, nighttime orientated bass and D&B sounds that I've been getting into recently.
I think I've asked pretty much everything I wanted to ask. What about you? Can you add anything that you would like to add?
Not really. I'm very interested in how this sound is progressing in Australia, and I'm appreciating how well it's received. I think the communities that we have in Australia around our outdoor festival scene and our doof scene is so beautiful and great that we should share that amazing energy with more genres and people and cultures as we can, because this bright, colourful people with smiles on their face like more music than just psytrance. And don't get me wrong, I love a psytrance session as much as the next man, but let's share these good vibes and beautiful places with all these different art forms that we love, rather than just niching it down to what we're used to, I guess. And that's sort of what we're trying to do with Basscamp. But I'm just stoked for music in Australia. People are killing it at the moment. Producers, DJs, all around the country. We've got people from, I think, every state and territory except Northern Territory this year. So it's cool to have a little hub of seeing all these sick crews doing mad gigs all around the country. So people should go out there and support. It's a tough time at the moment. Gigs are struggling to keep by, but there's so many passionate people doing amazing creative things. So yeah, keep checking it out. And Australia's fucking going off at the moment.
Thank you for doing this. Congratulations on so far successful party, as I can see. All the best for the future. Thanks for sitting down, and thanks for having me, brother.
Thanks heaps, Misha. Appreciate you, bro. Good luck with everything.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody, for watching. All the best. Stay tuned.